What's up, sports bettors? We are going through the best bets for UFC 277. So, a huge fight night on July 30th. Sportsbooks have started to release odds. There's been some early line movement, and I found a really good bet that I like. So, it's a huge fight card, right? We have Pena versus Nunes. We have Moreno. We have Kai France. We have Derek Lewis. So, a ton of big fights on this card, and we are going to be going through the best bets. So I locked in a bet a bit ago, and unfortunately the odds came down a little, but I still recommend that you tail this bet. And the bet I'm on is a positive EV bet. It's a positive expected value. It's a profitable bet. I'm on Kai France money line. This guy is an absolute beast, and I do think he will get the job done against Brandon Moreno. We can see the profit margin of this bet at plus 175 odds is 4.45%. So I actually bet this, as you can see right here, at plus 190 odds. And the odds came down a bit, but this bet is still extremely good, so I highly recommend betting it. 4.45% profit margin. And if we click into the odds, you can see that Pinnacle, they opened as like plus 190 money line odds on Kai France. All the action has been coming in on Kai, and the line has come crashing down to plus 154. Right? We say this all the time, but this is why as a sports bettor, it's critical. It's critical to always be looking for good bets, right? You never know when you're going to be able to get insane value plays like Kai France, plus 190 odds on the money line, which is now all the way down to plus 175 on Caesars, but it's still a very good bet. So I highly recommend betting this. So we can see no other sportsbook is now giving us better than plus 164. In Pinnacle, the sharpest sportsbook, the most efficient betting market, they're all the way down at plus 154. So at plus 175 odds, this bet has a profit margin of 4.45%, right? So essentially, what we can do is we can back out, well, what's the profit margin for my bet at plus 190 odds? Right? And this is really the importance of looking for good bets throughout the day and trying to spot these extremely profitable betting opportunities as early as you can. So you can see Kai is now plus 154 on Pinnacle, and Moreno is minus 180, right? So Moreno's the favorite, but being able to get plus 190 odds, just looking at the entire betting market, is clearly pretty great, right? So this was just a sharp bet found on OddsJam. And again, the profit margin has come down a bit to 4.45%, but still a great bet, a bet we want to take advantage of, right? So the profit margin on Pinnacle is plus 154, the no vig odds from Pinnacle are plus 154, minus 180. So once we remove the juice from the betting market on the sharpest bookmaker, we can see the true odds are plus 163.29, right? And we're getting plus 190 on Caesars. So even now at plus 175, you're still getting a lot of value to the true odds once you remove the juice from the sharpest bookmaker, and there's pretty tight market width, right? Only 26 cents of market width baked into Pinnacle's market. So essentially, right, sportsbooks, they imply win probabilities for bets through their odds, right? So they're efficient betting markets. Moreno's the favorite, so once we remove the juice from the market, he's a minus 180 favorite, we can see the zero vig line is minus 163, right? The way that sportsbooks make money is they don't charge you a fee for placing a bet, right? They charge the vig, they charge the juice. So essentially the sportsbook has a true price that they believe is fair, or the zero vig line, the true odds, the fair odds, whatever you want to call it, and then they bake in juice to their market. Right? So even though Pinnacle thinks the true odds for Moreno are minus 163, they juice it to minus 180, right? They give you worse odds than what they believe is the true price. And same thing for Kai France, right? The true line is plus 163. They move it all the way down to plus 154 because that's how sportsbooks make money, right? They find out what they believe is the true odds, and then they give you worse odds as the sports bettor. So OddsJam, it's pretty hard to find profitable bets. It's not like every bet out there is going to have some, or every game even is going to have a profitable bet. So you really need to be checking OddsJam frequently to try to find these sharp betting opportunities like France plus 190 on Caesars. So this bet, once we remove the juice, is winning 37.98% of the time, according to the real-time betting odds data on Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker. right? So this is an efficient betting market. They opened Cara France at like plus 190, which sports bettors, the sharps, clearly thought was too good to be true. So action came in on it and they moved the odds down, right? So sportsbooks are always implying win probabilities through their odds, right? So our bet is winning 37.98% of the time. But let's say if there were a fighter who was like minus 500, clearly the sportsbooks think that this fighter is a lot more likely to win. But you can quantify that mathematically by using real-time betting data from the sharpest bookmakers, right? So if a fighter was minus 500 and his opponent was plus 400, the sportsbook's implying that this fighter is winning, 80.65% of the time, right? So you're just removing the juice, removing the vig from the sportsbook's market to back out the true win probability for your bet. So we're using Pinnacle because it's the sharpest bookmaker, right? It's the most efficient betting market. So we can see our bets winning 37.98% of the time, plus 154, minus 180. So we throw that into here. Cara France is the underdog. The true price is plus 163. We're getting a ton of value to the true odds. We're getting plus 190. And the win probability for this bet is 37.98%. So we're staking $2,000 at plus 190 odds. So we're staking $2,000 to win 3.8 G's, right? So 37.98% of the time, according to the betting market on Pinnacle, our bet is going to win, right? So 38% of the time, we're winning 3.8 G's. The other, 62% of the time, we're losing our stake of $2,000. So we can back out our expected value, the profit margin of our bet. You take your win probability, you multiply it by your profit if you win, and then you subtract your loss probability by your stake, right? Just a simple expected value formula. So our bet had 10% profit margin, 10% edge as a sports bettor, $200 a profit margin on a $2,000 stake. And at plus 175 odds, it's 4.44% profit margin, which is exactly what you see on OddsJam, right? So OddsJam is no BS, no fluff, right? It's just using real-time betting odds from all the sports books to try to find you these line discrepancies in these data-driven sharp bets. And then it's your job as a sports bettor to use the tool as much as you can to try to take advantage of these bets. Like your goal is to place as many positive EV profitable bets as you can on a daily basis. So a ton of profit margin, obviously, in this bet at plus 190 odds, $200 in EV, still good at plus 175. So I recommend betting it. I locked it in. Let's make some money.